Everybody, it's Christine with SimpleDaisy, and I'm excited to share some fun memory keeping scrapbooking layouts with you. I've got two of them to show you. One is in like a 6x8 format, and then another one using like a traveler's notebook or a standard size notebook. So I have a couple ideas for you, some great fun ways to layer, use some stamps and some, we've got some of these great layered butterfly. I love these butterfly embellishments. And I ran out of time, but I definitely want to use these to make some cards. So they come flat. You need to just kind of mush up that top layer so that you get that great 3D effect. But how pretty would that be on a card, right? Even just like that on that, and you have a card. I'm excited to use those. But you also get this great stamp. So this, sorry, let me backtrack. So this is, these layouts were created using the scrapbooking kit from the Flutterby collection. So I'm going to show you some of those ideas, which makes sense as to why you see all of the butterflies, right? So the stamp set this month is this one here, and it is actually 2 stamps. So I just want to make sure you understand this is not one stamp. The butterfly on here is a separate stamp. So you get 2 of them, but you also get this nice large note stamp. I love that. All of our stamps are made in the USA, and they are a great photopolymer. They come in a storage sleeve, which is really, really nice and handy. You don't have to buy storage sleeves. We do offer them in the store for some of your other stamps that maybe you get from other places that don't give you the great stamp sleeve. So we do. So you get one of those. But I love this large stamp because it's the perfect thing for journaling. So you have this great built-in journal block. You could also put a photograph in the middle of that. You could do a bunch of these and turn it into a mini album. You could, of course, use those on cards. It would be really, really fun to layer as well. I took a page out of our A5 notebook and used that as my background. And I did a really big photograph. And I wanted to do that because I wanted the photograph to almost be the pattern or the complete background of the layout. And then I stamped my fun little note and then added some, this sticker here. I added the myself, that's from just printed out on clear sticker paper along with my journaling. I added the large die cut alpha stickers along the bottom there. I added another little die cut there. And then in here, these are really, really pretty too. And they're very delicate and pretty looking. So they're printed vellum. These are not stickers. We didn't make these stickers because I want you to be able to manipulate them, have them come off the page a little bit, and layer them like I did here without it just sticking down. So these are not stickers. We have vellum stickers in the stationery kit. These are not stickers. These are separate, and they're done that way on purpose, again, so that you can layer them and you can get more of that texture feel and not just have them laying flat. So that is my little 6x8 layout, and I love doing this size. It allows me to do a really huge picture, and it's much more compact. I put all of them in this fun little binder, and it's so much easier to store as well, and it's not as intimidating. You don't have that huge 12x12 space, so I really, really like that. And then using our SimpleDaisy notebook, and so you can subscribe to the scrapbooking kit on its own. You can subscribe to it with 12x12 papers, pocket cards, or with the SimpleDaisy notebook, which is the size of basically like a standard traveler's notebook. So you have all of those options, which is nice, but you get all of the same interior stuff. And I had fun with this one with the papers. So you have all, now obviously it would have a craft cover. Normally mine does not because it's just my sample. But I had all of these beautiful papers inside. But I really wanted to be able to add some pattern. So I went with this spread. It had a little bit of the beautiful florals at the top. I wanted to do a picture of my mom. And so I took some of the patterned paper and I just cut a strip of that. I loved this kind of dotted paper. This was not a pattern paper. It was one of the cards that I cut up. So remember, you can use these almost as patterned paper as well. You can cut things out. You can turn them into die cuts. But I cut a little strip of that there. I liked the yellow going on and it looked nice with this paper as well. I layered in some of the stamp die cuts. I thought those were cute. Used the large alphas. One of the, I love these little word and phrase stickers. I love when we use these. Just kind of added that there. One of the pieces of chipboard, some of the rub-ons. I thought that was pretty, and that kind of gets the black, kind of carries that over and balances it as well. The other cool thing that I wanted to mention is, let me show you. So we also have a die set, and that's this one here. We've started doing these, and I think that they're a lot of fun. And this particular butterfly from the die set works with this. Obviously you don't have to, and I'll show you what I did with that too. But this stamp will work with this butterfly die, and that is what I did here. So you have this sweet little butterfly on here, and then it kind of goes with those. I used one of those pretty little vellum pieces on here and tucked that behind the photograph, and then just added my journaling. But as far as the die set, I wanted to show you. So what I like to do, I've found through playing with it, it's actually easier to use the die first and then stamp on top of it. That seems to work a little bit better. But one of the things I did, and I thought it was kind of neat, because I was just going to do some examples. So there's a plain one. This one is out of this paper here. I thought that was cute. That's a cute one. And then I wanted to use this one here to make the little label that makes great little ephemera pieces. And so I positioned it over that on the pattern paper. I thought that was pretty, and punched that out. And then I was going to use this dark green, which I thought was perfect for these, right? But when so I just kind of positioned them, however, because I was just going for the green. But when I popped them out, I'm like, that's really pretty too. Look at how pretty kind of having that collage look on the other side is. So you could totally make a card out of those and layer them all. And I think they'd be really, really pretty. So I'm going to play with that a little bit. All the little collage bits like that from the die set. So that's a look at a couple of layouts that I did. Again, you can make memory keeping however you want to do it, whether you even want to do it with pictures, or you just want to journal, or you just want to use pretty stuff to layer. You can do that too. Whatever you enjoy doing, that's the beauty of crafting. I love trying to think of new ways to use notebooks as far as lists and journaling, and try and give you some different ways to use your supplies, to use all of those notebooks that I'm sure that you have, bound or unbound, whether they're SimpleDaisy or not. Just some different ideas on how you can break them down and you can use them. And the creative kit, which is one of my absolute favorite kits that we offer, this month we have a great two-step. We have a stencil and a stamp set that go together to make these adorable butterflies. And I love trying to add some creativity to those and just play. And that's kind of what this kit is all about, is to help you stretch your imagination. And you can use that in any application. So whether you junk journal, plan, scrapbook, memory keep, make cards, it's kind of this great little added bit that will kind of kick your other supplies up a notch, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. So anyway, so one of the things, so I was kind of inspired by the items that I created using the deluxe journaling kit. It had that currently stamp set that if you watch the other video, you'll see that. And it had, you know, ideas for lists, like currently watching, listening, reading, that kind of thing. And I thought, well, what if we go a little bit further? So I took one of our mini notebooks and I thought this is a great size. So similar to a passport. So if you have a passport size notebook, it's the same idea. You can just carry this with you and you can have it through the end of summer, and you can work on this and add little bits and pieces to your list. I've printed these out, but obviously you'd just be handwriting them if you wanted to. And so I broke it all down into sections. You could do more than 2 pages. So I have just like a 2-page spread. You could do more for each section if you wanted to. But the die cuts that come in this kit are there's a set of these great little tabs. So it's perfect for this idea. And I just did, like I said, 2 pages per. And I did watching, reading, listening, collecting, grateful for, and wishing for. And I thought that was kind of a fun way to start. And then what I did is I used the alpha set, and this is the alpha set that's part of the stamp subscription, and I stamped whatever section this was, and I kind of brought it off the page a little bit. I thought it was kind of a neat idea just to bring it off just a little bit. You still want to be able to read what it says, but I just brought it down off the page a little bit. I added a few of them. I added some of the fun little deco cards that have these cute sayings on them. I added those. There's some other little die cuts on here. You can do stickers. You could do it at rub-ons, whatever you want to use on there. And then I added those things that are for lists, right? But then the fun part. So you have these beautiful 2 butterfly stamps. And then you have the stencil that works with them. And if you watch my stamping video, make sure you check it out. I show you how to use these 2 together. But basically what you do is you stamp the one first in the color that you want. And I like to do this part in a darker color, and then the part that you stencil in a lighter color. So like this one here, I stamped in a darker purple, and then you lay this over top. Sorry, I got that. No, I got it right. You lay this over top like that. And you can hold it down with washi tape or not. And then you just use a little brush with a little bit of a lighter ink and brush that on, and you get that. So you can do layers. You can do lots of other colors. I love that you can make these combinations. You can do black and a color. And then, of course, this one works with this one here on the bottom. So you have both of those, and that comes in the kit as well. So I just want to page through here and show you. So here I did it in the yellow. That is the reading section. That's the listening. And there's obviously more room to add things. Added some stickers on there. And then we have the collecting, which I thought was really kind of cute. And then the grateful for. And then the wishing for. And you could go on and on and on. You can add a bunch more if you wanted to as well. But I thought that was a neat little way to use a smaller notebook and have some of those lists going. And it would be kind of neat to date that and then look back on that in a year and see what has changed. How have your tastes changed, you know? And then I also made a card because, you know, I love to make at least 1 card every month. And I wanted to use just items from the kit. And and we offer these note cards. You can buy these in a set of 3. So you get 3 note cards and 3 envelopes. So what I did is I took some of the rub-ons, some of the background pieces, which are here. I cut them in half and I put those down, and then I laid just a plain piece of white cardstock over top that I had added a couple other rub-ons to. Layered that with a little bit of foam adhesive, And then I took one of the little deco cards and I kind of curled up the edges on that just to give it a little bit of texture. You could distress it a little bit more. You could add some ink around the edges of this one if you wanted to. And then I added one of the butterflies. So that's the other neat thing, is you can turn these into die cuts. So if you just do this on some scrap paper and then cut them out, you get a great little butterfly die cut. And just added him on there. And then I have this great card. Isn't that fun? So I did all of that. So there's so many different applications with the Creative Kit. Like I said, it can be used in so many other ways. It's kind of like the sauce on the meal, right? It brings it all together. So that's and I forgot to mention, there's also this great, we haven't done a washi book in a while. So you get all of these great washi stickers. And these would really be fun to layer in on your pages as well. So you get that whole booklet too. One of the trends that I've really been loving, and it's been around a little while now, is where we're taking a lot of kind of vintage pieces or ephemera, things that you find, and kind of layering them all together. You don't need a photograph, which I really like as well. It's just taking all kinds of bits and pieces. Some of it feels kind of vintage, and creating almost like a junk journal. And I wanted to do that. I love to do that once in a while. And the items in the stationery kit I thought would be perfect to play with that and make. I made a layout. I did use a photograph and added some journaling, but you totally don't have to. This could be just, especially because it has these great little envelopes. If you have envelopes at all, they're a great thing to add to a junk journal or to a layout, because you can add journaling inside. You can add bits of ephemera inside, like if you go to an event or you travel somewhere or something. It's fun to add little things in the little envelopes. Even this one, part of the reason we've started using some of these for packaging is then you're not just throwing it away. Like, this is definitely something that you could put in a journal or in a junk journal and layer, add type onto on the front or the back, tear it, use parts of it, rather than just another plastic container that gets thrown away or packaging that gets thrown away. So that's part of the reason why we've started using some of these a little bit, just to try that out. But lots of labels. I had fun with this. So the basis, I knew I wanted to use one of the beautiful envelopes, right? Or one of the pockets, one of the envelopes. These would be great too if you made cards, and then you could use these as the envelope to give the card in. Wouldn't that be pretty? You could put some watercolor on there, would be really neat. So it comes with 3 of them, and I layered that on there, and then I wanted a little something more. Oh, and I should mention, so this is the A5 size notebook that I'm using for this page here. I took the vellum and I just tore that. I just wanted a little piece behind there. I thought that would be really pretty. And that's what we love about vellum too, is you can add those great layers. And then I just started tucking things and adding things. I used the sticky notes. Actually, I thought this worked really great to put a photograph inside. So I have just a nice small photograph in there, a little bit of washi tape. And then I used, there's a beautiful postcard that comes in there too. Looks super vintage, which would be really pretty layered with one of those as well. And then these labels, I love these. So these are what come in the little brown. Now, there's a little bit of a difference, and you'll see the difference more in, I don't think September, I think October. There's a set in the Creative Kit called Deco Cards, and they are not meant to be stickers, and they're actually meant to be larger. And so I think we finally got the size right for those. Those will make a little bit more sense in October. But those are not stickers. They do not have adhesive. These labels, however, do. And the easiest way to tell is it's usually a little bit, it's the surface. You can kind of feel that there's a backing on there. and you can peel them off. So these are stickers. But I layered a few of those in there. There's a few of the other little stickers. There was some pet stickers in here. There's some vellum stickers. And so you just layer all the pretty stuff together and it comes out great. I love that. Super easy to do. There's no right or wrong way to do it either. And I love that about it as well. So that's a fun little junk journal page that I created using just some fun stationery items. So just gather some sticky note pads, gather some ephemera, gather some kind of vintage labels if you have them, and some washi tape, and just have fun and play, right? Just start with a piece of patterned paper, or even a plain notebook would work as well. I always like to have something with a little bit of a grid just because it helps me keep things straight. Add journaling, don't add journaling, just have fun. That's the purpose.